I was tightening the final notes on a rough cut when my phone buzzed across my kitchen counter. The name Mom glowed on the screen. 3 weeks before Christmas. Late afternoon turning to evening in Brooklyn Heights. I already felt the heaviness before I even picked up. "Hi, Mom, Ava, sweetheart," she began, soft in that careful way she used when she expected me to take bad news politely. "We need to talk about the holidays." My hand paused over the keyboard. "Okay, what's going on?" "Well," she drew it out, pretending to sound casual. "Your sister is hosting part of the celebration this year, and she and Evan are bringing his whole family. His parents, both brothers, their wives, the children. It will be a full house." "Sounds crowded," I said. "That is exactly the issue." She exhaled like she had practiced this. "Your father and I have been thinking, and we realized we simply do not have space for everyone." The familiar tightening in my chest returned. "So, what are you saying, honey?" "We decided to keep Christmas. Immediate family only this year." "I am immediate family." My voice did not rise, but the floor seemed to tilt slightly beneath me. "Of course you are." She rushed. "But you understand what I mean. Brooke has her husband. His family is traveling all the way from California. They need accommodation. And you." She hesitated. "You are still single. You would feel out of place." Dear, there it was, delivered gently, wrapped in concern, but sharp all the same. "So," I said slowly, "I am not invited to Christmas. Ava, please do not say it like that. You are always welcome. We just think it would be better for you to come for New Year's instead. A quiet dinner, just the three of us. Much more comfortable for them. Not me." "Sure," I said, "if that is what you want." Her relief crackled through the phone. "You are always so understanding, sweetheart. That is why we love you." I ended the call and stared at the darkening window. Brooklyn lights flickered awake, warm and indifferent. The rough cut on my screen blinked, waiting for me to keep working, but something inside me refused to move. This was not new. It was simply the clearest version yet. The easy daughter, the flexible one, the placeholder to be shifted when someone more important needed space. I closed my laptop gently. If you have ever felt pushed aside by the people who should have known you best, stay with me. Stories like mine have a way of unraveling in places you do not expect, and I promise this one is only getting started. I tried going back to work after the call, but every edit looked wrong. Every line of dialogue in the documentary felt too sharp, too loud, too honest. I shut my laptop again. My phone buzzed once more. A text from Brooke. "Brooke, Mom told you. Right. It is just logistics. Do not take it personally." I stared at the message, my jaw tightening. I typed back, "I did take it personally. Because it is personal." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. No reply. I leaned back in my chair, letting the silence stretch. My parents always said they were proud of me, but their version of pride was vague, distant, something they mentioned to friends without ever asking what I actually did. When I first told them I had started my own production studio, my father had said, "That is nice, Ava. But how long can you really live off creative work? You should think about something stable." Stable. As if the studio, now valued at $52 million after a difficult but successful Series A round, were a hobby. As if the streaming contract that took me 2 years to secure were an accident. I remembered trying only once, to explain the Emmy nominations. "Congratulations," my mother had said, reaching for a serving spoon at dinner. Brooke's firm might promote her soon. Can you believe it? It was not that they disliked me. It was that they never paused long enough to see me. Another text arrived, this one from my father. "Dad, we know you are busy. Christmas would not fit your schedule anyway." I closed my eyes. They had not asked. They never asked. I typed a reply, then deleted it. Typed again. Deleted again. Finally, I put the phone face down and whispered to the empty room. You never wanted to make space for me. And for the first time, the words felt completely true. Christmas Eve came quietly, the way unwanted things do. I heated leftover soup, sat on my couch, and tried to convince myself it did not matter. I had work. I had deadlines. I had a life in New York that I had built completely on my own. My phone stayed silent until 8 in the evening. Then a notification flashed. Brooke posted a new photo. I should have ignored it. I opened it anyway. Their living room glowed with warm lights. My parents stood on either side of Brooke and her husband Evan, who held a toddler from his brother's side of the family. Evan's parents were in the back, 2 brothers and their wives crowded in, 12 people, maybe 13, all smiling, all settled, all together. The caption read, "Nothing better than family for the holidays." The word family was in capital letters. I felt something in my chest fold inward. A moment later, Brooke texted, "Brooke, see, it is a full house." "You get why it made sense," I typed back. "There was room for 13 people, just not 14. She replied almost instantly, "Brooke Ava, come on, you are overthinking this." I set the phone down before I said something I could not undo. Outside, faint music drifted from a neighbor's apartment. I let the quiet press in on me until it became a weight. I had spent my childhood believing that if I achieved enough, if I worked hard enough, the distance between me and my family would close. It never had. I whispered into the dim room, "I hope you are enjoying your Christmas." My voice cracked on the last word, and in that moment, I understood something I had avoided for years. They were not going to make space for me, not unless I stopped waiting for them to. 2 days after Christmas, I was at my desk, staring at a script revision I could not seem to finish. Every line blurred, every note echoed with the same empty certainty nothing I did would ever be enough for the people who were supposed to know me best. My phone lit up with a name I had not seen in months, Dominic Keller. We had worked together on a climate research documentary 2 years earlier. He was brilliant, infuriatingly calm, and very good at seeing things other people overlooked, including me. I let it ring once before answering. "Ava Langford." "Ava," he said, warm and direct, the way he always was. "How was your holiday?" My laugh slipped out before I could stop it. Quiet. Quiet good or quiet concerning quiet alone. I admitted. He inhaled softly. "Then I am calling at the right time. My team and I are flying to St. Bart's for New Year's. Sun, conversation. No obligations. The invitation I sent months ago still stands. Join us." I hesitated, not because I doubted the offer, but because accepting felt like stepping out of the role my family had written for me, the one where I waited on the sidelines until they needed me. "I do not want to intrude," I said. "You would be doing the opposite." His voice lowered. "Ava, you work nonstop. You carry an entire studio on your back. You deserve 1 week where you are not the one making room for everyone else." My chest tightened. He did not know what had happened at Christmas, yet somehow he hit the mark perfectly. "I do not have much time to decide." I said, "I am wheels up on the 28th. Say yes, and my assistant will sort all the details." There was a long pause. Not uncomfortable, just decisive. Mine to fill. "Yes," I said finally. "I will come. I am glad," he answered. "You might find a few things you did not know you needed." After we hung up, I sat very still. The room felt different, like I had cracked open a door in a house I thought I knew, only to find an entirely new hallway waiting. That night, I texted Brooke, "I will be out of the country for New Year's. Do not worry about checking in." She replied with a single line, "Brooke, enjoy yourself." For once, I intended to Dominic's yacht, the Solara, felt less like luxury and more like stepping into a room where no one expected me to shrink. Conversations flowed around me, climate researchers, tech founders, a Pulitzer-winning journalist all talking to me as if I belonged. Dominic moved among them with quiet ease, but his attention kept returning to me. On the second day, we ate lunch on the upper deck. The sea was calm, the air warm. Someone across the table, Maya, a cinematographer I admired, lifted her phone. "Hold still," she said. "You two look great." I started to protest, but Dominic leaned closer. Amused. "Let her. She has good instincts." Maya snapped the photo and showed us. I barely recognized myself laughing, relaxed, leaning toward someone who seemed to see straight through me. "You should post it," she said. "It is a strong shot." Dominic nodded. "You can tag me." "I do not mind." I hesitated, then opened Instagram. My fingers moved without overthinking. Caption: New Year, New Horizons. Tag a Dominicaler. I locked my phone and returned to the conversation. An hour later, the phone vibrated non-stop. Maya raised an eyebrow. "Your post is doing numbers." I grimaced. I should probably check. When I unlocked the screen, the notifications flooded in so quickly they stacked on top of each other. Likes, comments, direct messages, names from high school, college, old jobs. Then the one I knew would come: Brooke Ava. "Call me right now." "Mom, why are you with Dominic Keller? Call us immediately." "Dad, we need to understand what is going on." Dominic noticed the shift in my face. Trouble. I handed him the phone. My family suddenly remembered I exist. He read a few messages, then slid the phone back to me. "Turn it off. They are going to keep calling." "They can call," he said. "You do not have to answer." I turned the phone face down on the table. It buzzed anyway. Dominic leaned back in his chair. "Ava, listen. You are allowed to enjoy something without explaining it to the people who never asked about your life in the first place." The words hit deeper than I expected. I am not used to that. I admitted. "You will be," he said softly. The phone vibrated again. Brooke, then Mom, then Dad, then unknown numbers. I pushed the phone into my bag and stood. "I am going for a swim." Dominic rose with me. "Good. Let them wait. Let them wonder." And for the first time in years, I did exactly that. I flew back to New York on the evening of January 15th. The city felt colder than when I left, but something in me had shifted. I rolled my suitcase into my apartment, dropped my keys on the counter, and finally powered on my phone. The screen lit up like an alarm system. 83 missed calls, 47 voicemails, more than 100 text messages. The first call came before the phone had even finished syncing. Brooke. I let it ring twice before answering. Ava speaking. "Oh my God, finally!" she burst out. "Do you have any idea how stressful the last 2 weeks have been?" "For you?" I asked. "For everyone," she snapped. "Mom's friends keep calling. People are asking whether you and Dominic are dating. Dad said one of his colleagues saw the photo." "You could have warned us. I did not know I needed to," I said. Brooke exhaled sharply. "Why did you not pick up?" "We thought something happened to you. You had 12 days to think about me at Christmas." I said. "No one called then." "That is not the same thing." "It is exactly the same thing." There was silence on her end, real silence. The kind that meant she had no prepared argument. "Ava," she finally said, softer. "You should have told us you even knew him. You never asked." My voice thinned, but I kept it steady. "You asked if I was dating. You asked if I was lonely. You never asked about my work, or my life, or the people in it. That is not fair. It is honest." Brooke hesitated. "Mom and Dad want to see you. They want to talk in person. I am sure they do." I said, "Now that there is something to talk about, that is not what I meant. I will come to dinner." I said, "Next Saturday." She exhaled in relief. Good. Good. Okay. That works. "And Brooke," I added. "I am bringing someone." A pause. Small. Sharp. "Dominic," she whispered. "Yes." Another pause, longer this time. "Fine," she said at last. "I will tell them." When the call ended, I held the phone in my hand for a long moment. My apartment was quiet. The city hummed behind the windows. Something inside me settled. Not calm exactly, but decided. This dinner would not look like any dinner we had ever had before. And for once, that felt right. Dominic and I pulled into my parents' driveway just after 6. The house looked the same as always, calm, perfect, curated. My stomach tightened anyway. "You ready?" Dominic asked. "As ready as I can be." He offered his arm. Not theatrically, just grounding. I took it. My mother opened the door before we could knock. "Ava." "Oh, Dominic Keller." Her voice jumped an octave. "Welcome. We are honored." Dominic smiled politely. "Thank you for having me." My father stepped forward, shaking Dominic's hand with both of his. "We have heard quite a bit about you. Please, come in." He had not heard anything about Dominic until 2 weeks ago, but I let it slide. Inside. Brooke hovered near the dining room, too composed. "Hi," she said, hugging me quickly before turning to Dominic. "Thank you for coming." He nodded. I would not miss it. We all sat in the living room. My mother brought out a cheese board no one touched. My father cleared his throat. "Ava, your mother and I were surprised by your photo. We did not realize you were spending time with Mr. Keller." "Dominic," he corrected kindly. "And your daughter and I have known each other for a while." My mother blinked. "We had no idea you two were close." "That seems to happen with Ava," Dominic said. "People underestimate how much she is doing." I shot him a glance, grateful, but also exposed. My father turned to me. "Why did you not tell us you were traveling with someone so significant?" I kept my voice level. "Because no one asked. And traveling with him is not the important part." My mother clasped her hands. "Then what is Dominic spoke before I could—" "Her work." My father frowned slightly. "Her media projects." Dominic leaned forward. "Your daughter runs one of the most respected factual storytelling studios in New York. She has led investigations that have influenced environmental policy. Her last series was shortlisted for a Peabody Award. Did you know that silence cracked across the room?" My mother's lips parted. "A Peabody, Ava? Why did you not tell us I did?" I said, "You were talking about Brooke's promotion." Brooke flinched. "Ava," I kept going. Every time I tried to talk about my work, something about Brooke was louder, more convenient, more fitting to what you understood. My father swallowed. "That is not fair. It is honest." I turned to him. "When I started my studio, you told me creative work was unstable. You said I should think about a safer career." He looked away. Dominic continued gently. "Her studio is valued at more than $50 million. Stephen, that is not unstable. That is leadership." My mother pressed a hand to her chest. "We truly did not know, because you never listened." I said. My voice shook, but I did not stop. I tried. For years, I tried. And every time, you redirected the subject, or you forgot, or you assumed I would adjust to whatever everyone else needed. Brooke stepped forward slightly. "Ava, that is not completely—" "Do you remember?" I interrupted. "When I won the Regional Filmmaking Award at 18, I asked you to come. You said yes. And then you left halfway through because Brooke had a cheerleading showcase." Brooke opened her mouth, then closed it. My mother's eyes filled. "Ava, I am so sorry. We thought you thought it did not matter." I said, "And because of that, I spent the last 13 years convincing myself I should be grateful for scraps of attention. My father whispered, "You were never a burden." That is not how it felt. For a moment, no one moved. Then Dominic took my hand not to rescue me, but to steady me. I drew a breath. I am not here to punish anyone. I am here because I am done being invisible. If you want a relationship with me, it has to look different. It has to involve listening, space, respect. My mother nodded through tears. We can do that. We will do that. My father's voice cracked. Whatever it takes. Ava. Brooke wiped her eyes. Me too. I should have noticed more than I did. I held their words carefully, not accepting, not rejecting. For now, I said quietly, this is enough. Dominic squeezed my hand once, and for the first time in my life, I watched my family look at me and finally see someone they had never bothered to meet. 8 months passed, not quietly, but steadily like a tide rising without asking permission. My studio doubled its team after a fund led by Dominic's firm invested $6.5 million. Reporters called. Producers I once admired from afar asked to collaborate. For the first time, I felt the ground under my feet match the work I had been doing for years. My parents tried too carefully, unevenly, but sincerely. My mother called one afternoon while I was reviewing a pitch deck. Ava, darling, your father and I watched your sea level documentary again last night. I did not realize how much research went into it. That one took 4 years. I said, we are proud of you, she replied, and this time the words did not feel borrowed. Brooke sent a message a week later. Brooke, I used one of your episodes in a training presentation. People loved it. I typed back, thank you, and meant it. We were not close. Yet there were still long stretches of silence, small missteps, moments when old habits resurfaced, but something real had begun to grow in the space. Honesty had carved open. One evening, as I left the office, Dominic called. I saw the updated studio numbers. He said, you built all of that. You know that. Right, not alone. I answered, you were never alone. He said, you just got used to acting like you were. I leaned against the railing outside the building, letting the weight of that settle. It is strange, I said. Everything feels possible and unfamiliar. Good, he replied. New things should feel like that. His voice softened. So will you come to St. Bart's with me again this year? I exhaled, aware that my answer would shape more than travel plans. I will think about it, I said. And for once, thinking felt like power, not hesitation. By mid-December, the invitations arrived almost at the same time. Dominic called first. Ava, we are heading back to St. Bart's on the 30th. Same group as last year, plus a few new faces you will like. I would love for you to come. I smiled into the phone. I figured you would ask. I am asking because I want you there, he said. Not because it would look good, not because it would impress anyone. You. Just you. I felt the warmth of that settle in my chest. I will give you an answer soon. 2 days later, my mother left a voicemail. Ava, sweetheart, your father and I were hoping you would join us for New Year's Eve this year. We are keeping it small, just family, and we already set a place for you. Only if you want to, of course. But it would mean a lot. A place for me. The one thing they had denied the year before. I drove to Westport the next evening to return some equipment I had borrowed from home years ago. My mother met me at the door, nervous but hopeful. We really would love to have you, she said. I know. I answered. My father stepped into the hallway. Ava, last year, we were wrong, terribly wrong. If you give us the chance, we would like to start a new tradition, one that includes you. Brooke appeared behind them, her expression softer than I remembered. I already bought the sparkling cider you like. I thought maybe we could start fresh. I looked at each of them, my family. imperfect and learning, and felt the same ache I did as a child, but it was shaped differently now. It was not longing. It was understanding. That night, I called Dominic back. He answered quickly. "Tell me you are coming." "I am not," I said gently. A pause. Not hurt, just clarity. "You chose your family. I chose myself," I said. "And this year, part of choosing myself means showing up for something that finally includes me." Dominic exhaled softly. "Then I am proud of you." His voice held no disappointment, only something steady, something like belief. And for the first time, I felt the decision settle inside me without fracture. New Year's Eve at my parents' house felt strangely new, even though the walls and halls were the same. My mother fussed over the table settings. My father checked on the small roast in the oven, and Brooke hovered between rooms, trying not to appear nervous. "You really came," my father said when I walked in. "You invited me," I replied. My mother stepped closer. "Ava, we meant what we said. Tonight is for us." "All of us," I nodded, but words felt too fragile. Instead, I placed a small projector on the side table. Brooke blinked. "What is that? A short film?" I said. "Something I made this year." My father frowned gently. "For work? For me." I dimmed the lights and pressed play. The room filled with soft images, shorelines I had filmed at dawn. Behind-the-scenes shots from my studio, quiet clips of hotel rooms after long shoots, flashes of St. Bart's skies, and one frame where I stood alone on a balcony, shoulders tense but eyes forward. There were no interviews, no narration, just the year as I had lived it. When the final frame faded, no one spoke. My mother's voice broke first. "Ava, we did not realize—" "I know," I said. Brooke wiped her eyes. "You were carrying so much alone." My father leaned forward. "We cannot undo the years we missed, but we can try to meet you where you are now if you let us." I held their faces in my gaze, letting the silence shape the truth between us. "I am not asking for perfection," I said. "Just honesty, effort, and space. Real space." "You have it," my mother whispered. "All of it." After dinner, I stepped outside onto the porch. The air held that sharp winter stillness that feels like a beginning. A car pulled into the driveway. My breath caught when I saw him. "Dominic!" He walked toward me, hands in his coat pockets, a faint smile on his lips. "I had a feeling you might want company after midnight. I thought you were in St. Bart's." "I was," he said, "but you were not." Something inside me steadied. "You did not have to come." "I know," he said softly. "That is why I did." Behind us. Laughter drifted from the dining room, thin, imperfect, but real. Dominic glanced toward the house. "Looks like progress." "It is," I said. Slow, strange, but real. He reached for my hand, not claiming it, offering it. "If you ever want to keep hearing stories like this," I said quietly, echoing a thought I had carried for years. "Stay close. I am finally living the parts worth telling. I am here," he answered, and when the first small fireworks lit the sky above us, I let myself believe him.